Burpa
Yeah, I know. My Burpa Muffa is perfect.
Okay.
It's really
sure?
good. Yeah.
Can we test you?
Yeah, Burpa Muffa. Yeah. I'm sure everybody has heard about the term, knowledge is power.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But I absolutely disagree with that.
Whoa, that is revolution.
I'm already older than Bruce Lee now. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Shit.
Dude. All right, welcome to FUNDAY Chat. I am Wade.
I'm James.
This is James. So,
G'day guys, how's it going?
James, what is up? Got an interesting accent there. Where are you from?
I'm from Australia, mate.
Aussie.
Yeah, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
So you know what? Australian accent and the South African accent gets actually mixed up quite a lot by a lot of foreigners. Yeah. Oh. Obviously, I don't exactly have the South African accent right now. But in previous years, when I was in the States, I would get people they would be like, "Oh, are you Australian?" I'm like, "No, South African." But it's, I think, somewhat similar.
Oh, yeah. Well, I exaggerate myself over there.
Yeah.
I don't really talk like
don't
that.
actually have
Otherwise, if I'm teaching and I have such a strong...
Yeah, I'm like, how do students understand?
Exactly. And it's really funny. It's because sometimes I'll actually, all the time, if I meet a new student, I will always introduce myself, who I am, where I'm from.
Yes.
And then sometimes some students get really curious. It's like, so teacher, how come you don't have any Australian accent? It's like, well, if you guys want to learn, I better not turn it on. Otherwise, g'day, mate, how's it going? Oh, yeah, just having a bit of a banner, hey?
They're like, wait, is this English?
Exactly. But, I always like to have poke some fun with them and just lighten up the mood straight away.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing. When it comes to English, there's all sorts of accents, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, sometimes even if you do know English well, it doesn't mean you will understand everyone.
Exactly. Especially, oh my God. I would love to visit the UK. Well, actually, I've been to the UK, but when I went there, I was around 5 or 4 years old, and I haven't actually learned English at that time. So luckily, I wasn't influenced by any of them.
The British English.
Oh, really? Would you like to have a cup of tea?
Cup of water.
Water? Well, that's a bit of Cockney accent, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, so in South Africa, because we were governed by the
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth. So then obviously we did learn the British way of speaking.
The Queen's language.
The Queen's language.
Yes.
So then obviously there was times, that I still retain certain words. Like I just said, certain. As opposed to certain.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you notice the little differences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
But would you say, how did you figure out the accent switch?
Well, I guess it's all through media. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, so
100% we're American,
exactly.
Americanized, I think.
We watch American movies, and of course I spend a lot of time watching Australian TV as well, Australian soap operas and things like that.
Okay.
Right? And of course growing up in Australia, I am absorbed myself into the whole Aussie language environment. So
So for those viewers who don't know, you did grow up there. You were born here.
I was born in Taiwan, and by the time before I could even finish grade 1, so I was halfway of Burpa Muffa. And then
did you get through it, Burpa Muffa?
Yeah, I know. My Burpa Muffa is perfect.
Okay,
it's really
sure?
good. Yeah,
can we test you?
Yeah, Burpa Muffa. Yeah.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you had to go there, and then you obviously, I guess you basically feel like you're an Aussie kid, right? Growing up.
Now I feel more Aussie than Taiwanese for sure.
Now you do.
Yes.
Being there long.
But I did have a bit of an identity crisis when I was over there.
That makes sense.
I remember always counting myself every single year it goes by. Okay, I've been in Australia for 1 year now. 2 years now.
Okay.
Suddenly, half of my life has been in Australia.
Yeah.
And so on and so on and so on. After 2/3 of my life, I'm Australian.
I'm
now.
an Aussie.
Yeah, I'm an Aussie. Yes, I'll stop counting now. Yeah.
So how was? Did you go back anytime soon?
Well, I recently went back to Australia to join one of my really good mates' wedding.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, and it was also the first time that I brought my children back there. Yeah.
Oh, you're a dad.
I am a dad. I have 2 lovely kids.
Wow, very nice. How old are they?
So my oldest one he is turning 5 this year.
Wow.
And then my younger daughter, she turned 1 year old in Australia.
Wow, nice.
Yeah,
so I remember because obviously we did have a conversation before this, or we did a
while back. Yes, that's right.
Interview. Yeah. So I remember, I think you were just pregnant with her, right?
Oh, actually, no, maybe at that time. She would have got she's out of the oven already.
Oh, really?
Time. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but still very tender, very raw.
Yeah. Also, it's been a whole year.
Exactly.
Dude,
it's very quick.
Flying, man.
Exactly. And now she started walking already.
Yeah.
Now we're just chasing after her all the time.
Oh, must be fun.
Oh, it's amazing.
You must be tired.
All the time. So, every time I started teaching, all this smile is like, hey guys, let's go.
Yeah, I gotta keep up the energy.
Yeah. Right after class,
you're like, done.
Got that. All right.
No, but you know what? I think that's what probably a lot of what you have is what probably why a lot of people are drawn to you, because I think you're very easy to talk to,
you are,
and then you do have this very joyful, jolly, and
thank you
very
much. I think it's really important, like whether or not you're a teacher, is just the people skills is so important.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like you can do anything, but if you don't know how to communicate with other person, it's like
I know, like there's a business term that they say, people buy from people that they like.
That's right.
So it's not necessarily how good you might be. Of course, that's important.
Yes.
But like, if they like you, they are
rapport,
much more willing,
exactly.
to do business. So today we want to talk about something interesting, right? I think we discussed and you came up with the idea of wanting to talk about applying knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, can you just walk us through that a little bit?
Well, I'm sure everybody has heard about the term, knowledge is power.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I absolutely disagree with that.
Whoa, that is revolutionary.
Yeah.
How can you disagree?
Well, like knowledge is, it's good to have knowledge, but
Yes.
what is knowledge if you don't use it?
Key point.
That's right. So that's why there's a saying called, knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so true, dude. Because like, I feel like in my own life, like I've seen, right? When you're younger and your parents tell you certain things, you might know it in your head, but then you're like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
And then you see that when you don't apply it, then you don't get the result that you are going
you don't
for.
remember how to do something.
Yeah, or then you forget.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, you can know that you need to shower to be clean.
That's right.
If you don't shower, you ain't gonna be clean.
The smelly.
Yeah. And talking about that, earlier on, we were also talking about some of our, people that we look up to.
That's right.
And Jim Rohn, right?
Jim Rohn, I love him.
We talked about him the last time.
That's right.
You interviewed, and he had the same quote that really applies to this situation. He says, "Don't let your learning lead to knowledge.
Yeah.
Let your learning lead to action." The second part is such a key point.
That's absolutely. So without action, like no matter how much you know, without applying it, it's just going to go over your head. And one day it's like, I used to remember this.
Yeah.
Well, how come I don't know anymore? Like perfect example is me and my math. Find X. What do you mean? Find my ex-girlfriend or something? It's like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. Where are my ex?
Yeah, well, what is trigonometry? What is like quadratics?
What are sines? What are cos?
Well, like a what do you call that?
Hyperbole?
Pythagoras. Yeah.
Find Okay, let's not talk math.
I feel like we should. But you know
reveal-
what I'm saying. It's all this. You used to do the math equations all the time, but remember, like at that time, you keep solving problems, and then you actually know how to solve them.
Right.
But over the period of time, once I graduated and entered society,
use it.
Who would use that unless you're
not
like
us.
Definitely
Unless you're
not
like
me.
some rocket scientist.
Exactly. Unless you work for Elon Musk, then maybe you will use it. But I never used it in my life.
Right.
So of course now, if you ask me, like, this is one concern I have when my son grows up. When he's asking me, "Hey, Daddy, how do I do this math equation?" It's like, ask ChatGPT. Yeah.
Well, that's what they have now. We didn't have that back
So
in
I'm
the
like,
day.
thank you, ChatGPT.
Yeah. I know. Otherwise, sometimes I'm like, even maybe like grade 3, grade 4 math. You're like, do I remember how to do
exactly,
this?
man. I was like, do I even know division anymore? Like, it's like, I always use a calculator now. Yeah.
Well, so tell me, like, what have you found in your learning and teaching experience where you see this knowledge gap missing?
Well, so a lot of the students, when they come into the class, they will have a certain, they always go back to what is safe for them. Yeah.
True.
So they will always use the vocabularies that they've used for a long time.
Yes.
What they're familiar with. So you see already they are familiar with a certain vocabulary because they use it all the time.
Yes.
Right. So they apply action towards using the certain vocabulary. That's why now they know how to use it. So now just using the same thing. If you learn something new, right? I would like you, like I always tell them, like you should find a way to actually use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you learn.
Use it or lose it.
Exactly. So like I recently taught the expression better to be safe than sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay. How would you use better to be safe than sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go to them. Oh, if you forget your keys, oh, did you bring your keys? Double check. Oh, I should double check. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
You know, and then so if you apply certain situations in your life to try to link it to your everyday. That's how will you apply it.
Yes. That's so good because like I think that comes down to when learning anything, right? If we really don't actually make it our own, and actually then put it into our real life scenario. Again, it's just going to be our math, math, right? We use it for that time being. We kind of know what it means. We know how to get to the solution, but then, goes from one and comes out the other.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it is so important that you try to find a link to your everyday life with something new that you've learned, and that's the only way, you can remember. Well, that's one strategy to remember.
Yes. And I think that's good because we need to have, make it be more practical, make it like 生活化. Because if it's something also maybe too lofty for them to understand or too fancy and they can't really use it, then it's almost useless to kind of learn that.
So you do have to kind of go by level.
Yes, exactly.
So once you're in level 1, you learn something in level 2, and once you hone that level 2 vocabulary so well, then move up.
And that's such a good point because recently I saw a video talking about one of Bruce Lee's quotes, and he was saying. Yeah,
be water,
Bruce Lee. Yeah, be like the water.
The water can crash, water can flow.
Yeah, dude, he was so wise, man.
I know,
he had
right?
some really good sayings.
Yeah, I'm already older than Bruce Lee now. Oh my god.
Really?
Yeah. Shit.
Dude, Bruce Lee passed away young, man.
I know, right? I think he was like 32 or 33 or something.
Wow,
like that.
I'm coming up on that age.
Approaching, yeah.
Oh man,
that's right. So I'm already past Bruce Lee's age, but definitely not as wise as him.
Really?
Or definitely cannot move as good as him. Yeah.
But so one of this quote. I'm just going to paraphrase it, but he was saying something like he's more afraid of an opponent who's trained to kick one move 10,000 times than knowing 10,000 ways to beat a man or fight, right?
That's right.
Because it's like you really have to hone into that one thing that
fundamentals.
You know. Exactly.
Yes.
And I think today what we're talking about is so important too because the fact that you can learn the fundamentals, but what does it take? It takes you putting in the practice, right?
Absolutely.
10,000 times. And they say to really master
the repetitions.
something, you need like at least 10,000 hours.
That's right. Yeah. So to be a master of something, it requires at least 10,000 hours in order for you to reach there. So it is just a matter of practicing, putting into action, and then make it your own eventually. Yeah.
Do you have any examples of your own maybe that you've seen that you've applied this and then you see that? Obviously, it's
results for myself.
You results, yeah.
Well, I remember when I first went to Australia, I actually went to a language school.
Okay.
So at that time, I couldn't really even. I couldn't speak any English at all.
When you first moved over.
I remember my parents took me to a cram school in Taiwan. Okay.
To learn English.
To learn English,
yes.
Exactly. Yes. I remember learning how to count the numbers.
Okay.
By the time I reached 11, I cried. Because I could not for the love of God I could not say the word 11.
Oh really?
Yeah.
11.
Yeah. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So, but that's one case. But when I went to Australia, I remember the teacher giving me a very simple book.
Yes.
For very simple sentences. This is a book. This is a bike.
Yes.
And I remember the first time I read it, oh my God, it was so difficult. Yeah, but the thing is, I read it every single day for how many months, and then eventually it just became natural.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's just putting in the time.
Just putting in the repetition, that's all it is, yeah.
That's true. Well, so that's really good. I think just to sum up everything, it's so important for today, as we talked about, having the knowledge is one part.
That's right.
Yes, it is a good thing. You can have the power. It's good to have that.
It's good to know something, but
the most important part, part 2,
that's right.
Apply it.
Yeah, that's how you remember it.
That's how you remember. That's how you learn.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, how we also overcame a lot of things and how we learned English.
Exactly.
Because our background a little bit similar.
Yeah. For me now, learning Chinese, I need to apply the same thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, I learned Chinese by watching 流星花园.
Okay. I haven't seen that. That's another good way, though.
Yeah, man.
Watching
television shows.
Yeah.
To gain some knowledge. That's
very
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you,
time
Wade.
today. We appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you around next time.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye-bye.